In our last video, we discussed some of the reasons that we should all consider playing video games. Well, now it's time to be the bad guy, and discuss the negatives, and there are some pretty nasty ones. Here are some reasons that you should not play video games. Life is very stressful. We're constantly bombarded by things that we have to do, things that others tell us to do, and we don't like it very much. There may be things that we wish we could do instead. In the early 20th century, Sigmund Freud posited his theory of wish fulfillment, something that we do unconsciously, in his example while we sleep, to cope with life's frustrations. He theorized that our dreams are the unconscious brain's way of working through problems that we have in our lives. If we dream of eating a fish, we may secretly wish to kill our best friend, although the meanings of dreams are never that universal. Video games offer us the same fulfillment when it comes to the stresses of life. If we were stuck in traffic today on the way to work, may as well break all the traffic laws in Grand Theft Auto and feel fulfilled. If we're trapped in an unfair economic system, may as well get rich in the World of Warcraft. Instead of directing our frustrated energy into working in the real world to contribute to some sort of solution to our problems, video games rather allow us to cope with our harsh realities by playing a game, directing our energy into a quick and easy solution. The logical effect is that our frustrations may never lead us to try to better our given lives, but instead choose to live in virtual ones, free of our stressors. The soothing effect that video games can have on us can be very seductive. Because they're so good at fulfilling our desires and giving us constant positive feedback, video games can be extremely addictive. Studies across the board describe that addicted gamers show the same signs of neurological addiction as those who are addicted to drugs and alcohol. Playing a video game is much easier than going through real life, and the game often tells you what a great job you're doing almost every step of the way. Obviously designed this way so we play them for longer and longer periods of time. Video games grant players a lot of intoxicating power over their virtual worlds because systems and games are much simpler than their counterparts in reality. In fact, a large proportion of video games predominantly employ two mechanics to simplify otherwise complex problem solving: violence and competition. Games that present complex problems such as overthrowing corrupt ruling classes or becoming exceptional in the game world often present systems of violence as the method to achieve those ends. Mario pursues his noble intention of saving the princess by killing hundreds of Bowser's minions along the way. Assassin's Creed is not called Diplomat's Creed. That would obviously make the game a lot harder and probably less fun. Competition also serves to simplify our interactions with others while we play games. Instead of recognizing the complex human being on the other side of the game, we're led into the us versus them mentality and then cast others into the role of the enemy, sometimes even if they're our teammates. Online competitive games are known to be the breeding grounds of extremely vile, aggressive communication. Real strategizing and understanding of others we play with is a true rarity. Gamers who play very frequently are also disproportionately found in the highly developed world. The highest video game revenues in 2018 by country was reported by WePC to be found in, from highest to lowest, China, the United States, Japan, Germany, the UK, and the list continues in that predictable pattern. People in poorer countries often don't even have the opportunity to play any video games at all. That's not even to speak of the distribution of gamers that must exist across class divisions. When we think of engaging with a video game as choosing to exist in a virtual world, one much easier to exist in than our given world, it paints video game playing in a light that's not frequently explored. Video game players could be contributing to the real world, a world that many have no choice but to always exist in with no escape. But instead they choose to contribute to virtual worlds that may have no positive impact on reality. Players choose the easy solution to their frustrations instead of seeking to change the circumstances that led to them in the first place. Unless a game meets the distinguishing criteria that we illustrated in our last video, there's little chance that being good at a game, or putting many hours into it, has much benefit except only satisfying the player. Video games are honestly a marvel of human invention because they so perfectly cater to so many of our desires through one cohesive experience. However, this also makes them one of the most subtly dangerous technologies we've invented. They're almost too easy to become addicted to, and take a lot of time and motivation away from our interactions in the real world. Unless we use video game technology to explicitly work towards beneficial, real-world outcomes other than simple satisfaction, video game players may continue to be viewed as unfortunately wasted human potential that could instead be utilized to improve society for all.